Yin, Yin, come on, wake up. It's getting pretty late already. Eijiro's voice cooed in my ear, stirring me from my slumber and causing me to grumble lightly and disdain. His bare body pressed up against my back, arms hugging me close to his chest as he pampered light kisses along the back of my neck. We need to get up, he mumbled gently before placing a kiss on the back of my ear, my closed eyes squinting shut with a tingling sensation. Eijiro, no. My tired voice trails off. The feeling of his lips pressing against my skin slowly starts to lull me back to sleep. He pampers the marks lingering my shoulders and neck with gentle kisses, soothing the little aches left from the night before and causing a sigh to escape my lips as I grew closer to dozing off again. The feeling of his lips on my skin stops. Come on, he softly states, removing his warmth from my back and hoisting himself up. My eyes blink open, brows furrowed oftenly as I glance up to see Eijiro leaning over me, his hands postured on either side of my torso, holding him up and causing the mattress to sink beneath his weight. Go away, Red, I grumble, turning into my pillow as I could hopefully get a couple more hours of sleep. Yin. His voice draws on. He then flops onto my back, his weight posturing onto me and causing my eyes to squint open as the air slowly escapes from my lungs. Eijiro! My voice whines lowly. One of my arms that was originally beneath the pillow dragged out and repeatedly smacked the redhead's shoulder. His chest shakes against my bare back as he chuckles. Yeah? The soldier asks innocently, and I suck in as much air as my lungs could. Get off of me, I demanded with a huff. Does that mean you'll get up too? He wondered, still leaning on me, but starting to run his finger through my hair. You're heavy, so unless you want me to never get up again, I think you should get off, Red. What's that supposed to mean? He asked, and I can practically feel his brows furrowing in question. I'm going to die, I proclaim much louder than before. I'm going towards the light, I call, using the rest of my preserved air before flopping my face back onto the pillow. He goes silent for a moment, and then I can feel his eyes burning into my back of the head before he sucks in a breath, pushing himself up. After finally riding his weight from my back, my head raises as I inhale, my lungs finally fill with much-needed air again, and with a sigh of relief escaping my lips. My attention towards the side when Eijiro's shadow cascades over my figure, his hands on his hips as I stare down at him, and from the side of the bed. He then stood up, after getting off of me, and my eyes immediately was the only thing I was able to comment before casting my gaze upwards and seeing his dampened expression. I swear it looked at me first. I claim in defense, the two of us pausing. That makes two of us, he retorts, crimson eyes half-lidded as he took in my own appearance as well. Suddenly, Suddenly, I'm remembering of my current, disheveled state, and the light peeking through the curtains behind the soldier really seemed to help expose everything that had happened the night before. My eyes widen once I recognize his eyes, or the look that was filling his expression, a small crackle of his quirk hardening against his temple as he clenched his jaw. My eyes are trailing over the marks along my shoulder and neck, and I assumed that they weren't too deep due to the slight ache I felt when I moved. I was probably too busy basking in pleasure to really notice, and my face flushed as I hurriedly pushed the sheets over myself and hiding and snapping the trace he had fallen under. Hey, he mutters, moving closer and causing me to shift in the opposite direction. No, I repeated, watching the crimson-eyed pro-getter stalk forward. Can we? No! Time skip. Trotting through the busy village streets, my head was kept low as we walked, fixing the new mask I was holding in my features behind. Is it uncomfortable? Eijiro questions beside me, his crimson gaze watching me through the eye holes of his own mask. No, I'm just making it a little tighter, I explained with ease, tilting my head up to meet his eyes and causing him to nod in understanding before returning his attention to the path ahead. The townsfolk moved about around us, clearing up the many things thrown from the rooftops the night before and most of the festivity leftovers. Eijiro's arm rested gently alongside my shoulder, keeping me close as the busy people continued on their day to clean up and keep me from possibly getting lost. After explaining what had actually happened last night in the alleyway while we were getting ready this morning, he had been on more edge. Averting eyes wandered about for any possibility threat. It seemed this wasn't his first encounter with the League, but I wasn't going to push for answers. At least not for now. Here, this way, he mutters under his breath, lightly tugging on my shoulder and leading me to a nearby alleyway. Another note. He had briefly explained about the whole hair situation, and from nervous hands on my shoulder, I could feel his tense the further we ventured through the village. Soon, though, we stepped out from the shadows between the houses, my eyes catching into a tavern just up ahead and the outskirts of the town. Sparrow's Rest, the sign read, and Eijiro leads me over to a large oak tree placed at the front. The wooden steps creaked beneath our weight as we climbed the porch. Once at the door, I noticed a light tense in Eijiro's hand before he pulls it off my shoulder. Tilting up the mask to look at him, my eyes stare worriedly. Are you okay, Red? I asked, snapping him out of his thoughtful state before his eyes flickered down towards me, the mask holes rummaging his beautiful crimson eyes. Yeah, I'm okay. He pauses, reaching his hand up and pressing his thumb on my mask, tugging it down slightly to cover my chin that had been exposed due to the moment. Just keep the mask on, okay? I'll explain later again. The ex-soldier explains, causing a hint of confusion to perk my mind, but I nod either way, choosing to trust my lover over anything else. He nods, turning away to reach out and loudly knock on the door. We're closed! A voice calls out, a girl by the sounds of it, her tone light and cheerful. It's just me, Uraka. Eijiro replies, lifting his voice so the girl could hear from the inside. So, he knows her? I blink at the name, briefly glancing up at the soldier before tilting my eyes back towards the door as the steps run up to it. Kirishima? The voice asks, directly behind the door as it clicks, signaling the oak had been unlocked before it was opened slightly, a pair of dark brown eyes peeking through the crack. Hey, long time no see, he greets, a sheepish smile as he gestures as he lifts his hand up to rub the back of his neck. She practically slams the door open, moving out of the way for the wood to swing before jumping out to hug the redhead. I take a step to the side, smiling at her cheerful antics towards him, and after a few seconds of them hugging, he gently pulls her off, and she obliges, happily fixing the witch's hat sitting atop of her head. I didn't think we'd see you until we got to the realm, she beams before finally looking my way, her pretty round eyes widening lightly in surprise. Oh, and who's this? The girl Uraka wonders, lifting a hand to brush her brown bangs to the side and away from her eyes as she sets her attention towards me. Eijiro, and I say at the same time, the noise escaping my lips due to the surprise from the sudden notice. I'm Ian, I answer with a light wave. Isn't Ian one of the... I immediately, her eyes widen in recognition and shock, attention flickering back to the soldier. So it's true. Eijiro sighs, bringing his hands up to nervously rub the back of his neck again. Just let us in so I can explain, okay? Heap sweat drops and Uraka glances to me again. Her kind gaze meets mine for a moment, almost as if slightly asking me something I couldn't quite put my finger on. Okay, follow me. She gently nods, turning and stepping back into the tavern. Besides the door frame, she grabs a staff up and leaning against the wall. I send a look in Eijiro's direction, and he nods, gesturing for me to follow. You can trust her. As I walk in, and my eyes cast to the many tables scattered throughout the room, some chairs flipped and tossed to the side. It was a disaster. The inside was lit by the rays of the sunlight that managed to peek through the small windows overhead. A bar set near the right end of the room, a multiple of bar stools in the stone wall. Sorry, I was just cleaning up. There was a bar fight last night. The shorter girl comments over her shoulder, her figure briefly waving through the mess. Silence takes over us for a moment as she approaches the bar. So, where's Midori and everyone else? Eijiro wonders, taking my hand in his. Just follow me, she answers, passing by the bar and pushing the side door open. I lightly tug behind Eijiro in a protective manner as we traverse some of the stairs directly after. The lighting dims due to there being no windows up here, and a group of mixed voices are muffled through the halls, slowly growing louder the closer we got. Uraraka stops at the door, glancing our way before knocking on the door and pushing it open. Kirishima's here, she announces before stepping in. Then, with a reassuring squeeze, Eijiro takes a breath and follows the shorter girl inside with me, hidden within his shadow. Kirishima? A boy's voice wonders, remembering Uraraka's curiosity from earlier and causing another voice to greet the redhead. Hey guys, Eijiro replies. Who's that behind you? The same boy asks when I step out from behind the taller man, my colored eyes almost the indelible scattered throughout the room before focusing on one girl. It took a moment, but her long, dark eyes meet mine immediately, lining with reminiscence. She had been holding her dark, long green locks in one hand, braiding the ends when she paused. My eyes blink in recollection. Sue? Ian? Kiro? Okay, I'm gonna go really quickly. For those who had listened to Be Crowned and Gods of Gods, along with The Spider in the Night Part 2, what'd you think of it? If you didn't listen to it, I do not care. I just want your guys' opinion because I will be writing more of it. Anyways, I love you all so much. Bye! Mwah!